Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world. Today we're analyzing Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, but not just as a story. We're looking at it as a blueprint, a model for a system that's designed to measure, define, and then enforce what it means to be human.
So, let's just dive right in with that question. The world of this novel is literally built around that idea. A society where empathy isn't just a feeling, it's the main testable metric for being human.
Okay, so to really get this society, we first have to look at its core technology. We're talking about a system that's been designed from the ground up to regulate emotion, and, believe it or not, to quantify humanity itself.
The system's control starts right in your own home with this thing, the Penfield mood organ. Your emotions, they're no longer spontaneous. They are scheduled, they're technologically induced, all to provide this kind of manufactured stability in a really chaotic post-war world.
This little bit of dialogue from the very beginning between our protagonist, Rick Deckard, and his wife, Aran, well, it shows you just how deep this technology runs. They are literally arguing over which emotions to dial up for the day. Think about that.
So, if the mood organ is the personal, private regulator, then the Voight-Kampff test, that's the system's public enforcement arm. It's basically a tool that outsources this incredibly profound judgment of who is human to a machine that's just reading biological data. But why? You have to ask, why would any society create such a rigid, almost mechanical system for defining humanity? Well, the incentives are all built around a desperate, society-wide need for order and for status.
And this right here, this highlights the core incentive. See, in this world, most animal species are extinct. So owning a real animal, that becomes the ultimate status symbol. It's a public performance of your empathy and, by extension, your certified humanity. An electric animal, on the other hand, is a source of constant private shame.
This social pressure to show off how authentic you are creates this immense personal anxiety. It's what drives people like Deckard, who's a bounty hunter, to earn money specifically to replace their fake pets with real ones, all just to climb that social ladder.
So what happens? What are the consequences when you turn being human into a measurable bureaucratic category? Well, you get some very predictable and very, very dangerous structural outcomes.
The system creates a language that just completely sanitizes violence. Bounty hunters aren't killers, right? They're just administrators. They're not executing living beings. They're retiring machines that happen to fail a standardized test. It's all just a technical procedure.
And this is what exposes the system's critical flaw. Its absolute, total dependence on its own instruments being infallible. The entire structure really hangs on this one question: what happens when the machine gets it wrong?
It's Deckard's own boss who explains the fatal exception. The test, which is designed to measure empathy, actually can't tell the difference between an android and a human who has certain mental health conditions, ones that cause a flattening of affect. So a medical diagnosis, well, it effectively becomes a potential death sentence.
This is exactly why we need to stop looking at all these pieces, the mood organ, the test, the animals, as separate things. We need to start understanding the entire social structure as one single functioning mechanism.
So let's frame it this way. The entire system is a calibration machine. It's a machine that is constantly testing, constantly measuring, and constantly recalibrating who gets to count as human, all in order to maintain social order in a world that is fundamentally falling apart.
This four-step process, this is the engine of the whole society. It takes this deep existential uncertainty and converts it into a simple, enforceable, pass-fail result that the bureaucracy can then act on.
So why would anyone put up with such a flawed system? Well, because in a post-apocalyptic world that's filled with radioactive dust and just this crushing existential dread, a flawed sense of order is way better than no order at all. Certainty, even if it's false, is a really powerful drug.
And that brings us to the core malfunction of our calibration machine. It's a breakdown that Deckard, one of the machine's own operators, starts to experience firsthand.
Here it is. This is the system's fundamental error. This is the crisis in perception. It's mistaking a measurable response for actual moral depth. It assumes its instrument can really measure the quality it claims to define, mistaking the reading on the dial for the soul itself.
You see, after everything he goes through, Deckard turns the test on himself, and he discovers he has an empathetic response toward an android, a result the system says is completely impossible.
And for him, in that one moment, the machine's cold logic just shatters.
And this is really why this story is such a powerful model. It gives us a blueprint for understanding how these exact forces we see all around us every day, operate not just in science fiction, but right here in our own world.
Here's the most crucial point. From the system's point of view, this isn't a failure at all. It's a success. The real tragedy is that this stability is built on a profound and often deadly misunderstanding of what it actually means to be human. Crisis in Perception examines how systems shape belief and how better tools help us see clearly. This project is free and publicly accessible. If you'd like to support the time, tools, and research behind Crisis in Perception, you can become a supporter on Patreon. For a longer, audio-based analysis of this topic, see the deep dive linked in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.